This is another tutorial. Even though I did not want to make tutorials, I'm still making them because that's what works apparently on YouTube. I mean, for my channel, even tutorials don't work, but you get the point. Anyways, a ton of people have been asking me on my Instagram, and by a ton I mean 2, which is still a lot by my standards, on how to get the glowy and dreamy look. And I have been doing this dreamy glowy look for past few posts, I guess, and it looks pretty good. And today I'm going to show you how to do it in Photoshop, the easiest way there is, because I'm lazy. Anyways, let's jump into Photoshop, and I'll show you guys how to get the dreamy glowy look really easily. So here we have our image open in Photoshop, and as you can clearly see, it's a pretty good image, and it's usually these kind of images that we want for the dreamy glowy look. Usually evening or night scenes with like a very prominent sort of highlight. Anyways, let's get started. The first thing you want to do is unlock the layer by clicking on the lock icon. Now the layer is unlocked. Then we are going to do Ctrl and J, and this will create a copy of our original layer, which is right here. So make sure that the layer on top is selected, and then we'll go to Image and Apply Image. Now make sure that the layers are merged and the blending mode is selected as multiply, opacity 100. Once that's done, click OK, and now you can see that your image looks darker. I mean, except for the highlights, every other area is almost black, which is perfect, which is exactly what we want. Now go here, now select blending mode from the main option and make it screen. See the difference? The whole image becomes a little brighter. The highlights become very bright. It also affects midtones a little bit, but it's primarily highlights that have been boosted. So here's the before, here's the after, but we are not done yet. Next we are going to go to filter and blur and select Gaussian blur. And now once you change the radius, you can change the intensity of the glow. So you can see that if I keep it around here, it has this subtle glow, which actually looks really good. But if we go higher, the glow becomes more wider, giving it that foggy vibe. Now this is personally up to you, like what sort of mood you're going for. I'd go for something like this. This works. And click OK. So before, after, see, it's already very glowy. But what if we only want the glowy parts to be on the lights and not affect the whole image? Because right now the whole image has been the exposure has been pumped a little up. What if we want to keep that shadows as dark as they were and just pump up the highlights a little bit? Then just make a layer mask by clicking here. This will create this, and Ctrl I. This will make the layer mask completely black. So the whole layer is now invisible. Now we go to brush tool. Make sure that your foreground color is white and background color is black. Make sure your layer mask is selected. And let's increase the brush size. Make sure you're using a soft round brush with opacity 100 and flow 100. Now what we are just going to do is paint over the highlights or the areas where we want the glow to affect. So just paint over them. Easy. You see how the glow is now only being affected on the areas where we are painting it. A little here as well. And don't forget the reflections, really important. We have some highlights here as well. Some highlights here. And the street lamp here. So before, after only affects the regions that have the highlights. Now to intensify it further, all we need to do is very simple. We don't need to tweak the blur settings or anything. We just need to Ctrl J and duplicate it. and we are going to duplicate it again, and this becomes again intense. So I think this is a little too much for my taste. I think let's make a Control J. Like around 35%. I think this works really well. I have another image here to show you a variation in case you want to use it for, you know, some sort of like brighter image, like shot in the morning or evening, like the sun is also there, it's much more brighter, it's not completely night. You get the whole fucking point. We're gonna start with the same thing. Unlock the layer, Control J to duplicate the layer, select the layer that's above, and apply image. Make sure the blending mode is multiply, click OK. Change the main blending mode to screen, go to blur and Gaussian blur. For this one I'm going to go a little less intense since I don't want the whole scene to be foggy, and since it's a more brighter scene, we just want to focus our glow near this area. So I guess this much is enough. Done. Clear a layer mask, and I want to preserve the same level of exposure. I don't want this whole scene to look bright. I want that low exposure kind of moody vibe to go with it. So I'm just going to Control I, the layer mask, and here now we have I'm just going to decrease the brush size, brush foreground color white, and paint over the areas where we want the glow to be. So the lamp here is going to paint around here, the reflections here a little bit. Yes, this works. And we have a lamp here as well. Now this whole area to be glowy as well. Here, yep, this works. And here we have, so before and after. Once you get the hang of it, you can like change it, tweak it according to your image, according to your mood, according to your style. You can do whatever you want with it, and I think that's what makes it really so convenient. Also, since it does not involve too many steps or too many complex processes or manual corrections or stuff like that, that just makes it like, why not use it in every single image, right? No, please don't do it. Don't. With that being said, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. See you in the next one.